We're going to the wild.
Wild? You could actually go there?
This is DreamWorks' amazing Madagascar, which just turned 21 years old.
Happy birthday!
That's right, people now born in 2005 can legally drink, even if they were born after the time that Chris Rock and Jada Pinkett Smith worked together.
Oh, wow!
I don't think we're getting a Madagascar 4, and I'm not just saying that because I've already done a cancelled video on it. But like it or not, the original Madagascar is now a bona fide old movie. And really, it was a pretty important one in the DreamWorks timeline. Because following the first two Shrek movies being massive hits, they had entirely abandoned their 2D animated movies, which, other than Prince of Egypt, had all completely bombed. Only trouble was the only non-Shrek CG movie they actually put out since this strategy was indeed Shark Tale, which financially did actually do decently at $374 million worldwide. But it's not exactly Shrek money, is it? And yet that had all that momentum with from the makers of Shrek all over the marketing and then just blew it. Now, we've talked excessively about the quality or lack thereof of that particular movie, and it really left the question at the time of, can DreamWorks actually make a good quality hit outside of Shrek? Well, come the following summer, a lion, zebra, hippo, giraffe, alongside some penguins and a lemur or thousands, set out to make their case. We begin with Universal retroactively slapping their titles onto the movie, because no pre-acquisition movie can even have its independence anymore, before the off-the-wall humor in this movie fully makes itself known off-rip. That's right, the opening shot of the movie is a zebra swinging across the shot between the trees. Nature documentary, this is not, even if it is just a vision. A daydream that, without a word, tells us in the opening seconds that Marty desires freedom and the wild.
The wild.
Alright, maybe not that one, that's the Disney rip-off version that they released a year later, forget about that. And I really like that this movie quite confidently commits to just being all-out comedy. Because remember, this is during the golden age of Pixar movies that seem to be able to juggle several different tones and genres in one movie, and it's very tempting to try and match that. But no, here we have a movie that just says, we are comedy first. And with this classically arranged version of Born Free playing over it, it kind of feels like an extension of Shrek's digs at Disney. It's a funny, confident opening before we're dragged into reality with...
Surprise! Ah!
Well, at least a reality, where zoo animals are only kept in by torso-high fences that they can just kind of jump over and hang out with each other. The lion walks like a human.
Come on, Marty. Just wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
I don't need to tell you that we're not quite going for realism here. Again, though, a wise choice where this movie can differ itself a bit.
What the heck is this doing in this? Happy birthday!
Of course, this pairing of a lion and a zebra as best friends is also doing the work in establishing how these guys are to captivity, with a whole arc of friendship versus animal instincts creeping in to get through after all.
Another year's come and gone and I'm still doing the same old thing.
And early doors, we see these two friends and their very different perspectives. We have Alex giving Marty yet more merchandise of himself. He's clearly very happy where he is, both in how he's taken care of and that he's the star of the zoo here. If Central Park Zoo was Andy's room, he's the Woody around these parts. Whilst Marty feels the limitations and is after something more.
Stand over here. Walk back over here.
Because whilst he can roam around and everything far more than a usual animal in captivity, to be fair to the guy, he has very little space to actually work with for his day-to-day. I mean, that's like animal cruelty levels of limited space there.
I see your problem. Maybe I should go to law school.
Just a taste of some of the lines coming in this movie. Alex, the content main man, giving Marty some tips to make the day more interesting for himself. We then see a day in the life of these guys.
Oh, I love people. It's fun people, fun time.
Introducing the two other pieces in our core ensemble first, and a bit of their character thrown in there too. We've got the, at least currently, chill Gloria the hippo, also very content where she is.
10 more minutes.
And Melman, the hypochondriac giraffe.
found another brown spot on my shoulder.
Someone who would clearly struggle away from the human world, where he can indulge over monitoring his medical situation to his anxiety's content. From these introductions, we are set to understand why these guys will get so thrown off when the thing happens. Topping it all off with Alex and his top billing slot in it all.
King, New York City.
Never gets old that they have Ben Stiller saying raw like that. It's the ultimate antithesis of the roars of Pride Rock in Lion King. Of course, this is also setting up a parallel for later, but still in itself, it's hilarious. Not to mention the Zoolander Blue Steel reference they get in there as well. References I wouldn't have got as a kid. It's nice to see him as an adult. Again, this movie's gonna have a lot of treats for adults. I mean, I didn't even get the lawyer line probably the first time.
Magnum. There it is.
And I really enjoy the concept of the animals treating their roles at the zoo like they're performers. It certainly makes sense why they immediately break into the circus by the time we reach the third movie. You know, there's a link there. Speaking of breaking, the ultimate literal breakout characters then make their iconic debut. It's all iconic classic stuff, right?
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
They got their own spin-off franchise for a reason. From their very first line, they are immediately memorable.
And the bad news? We've broken our last shovel.
I can't quite explain why the penguins being the super organized great escape characters of the zoo is perfect.
Today we're gonna blow this dump.
It just works, doesn't it?
You don't see that on Animal Planet. I'll be here for my whole life.
I've been here the whole time.
As we get to the end of the working day, it only becomes clearer that another day of this was not the one for Marty. Despite Alex getting top billing, presumably because Ben Stiller was particularly huge at the time, Marty's very much the active protagonist of at least the first half of this movie. It's his character journey that's focused on here and what ultimately leads to all the events that unfold.
You, quadruped. Sprechen Sie English?
Though those damn penguins help that arc along a little bit, with absolute gems like this one.
Can you keep a secret, my monochromatic friend?
Say what you want about the overall story, but it has to be said that there's some fantastic comedy writing in this movie. To me, it's the most memorable bit. And the slapstick that we will get onto more later on. Not only throwing in lines like this that of course will surpass kids entirely, but also establishing characters like Skipper, where this sort of dialogue makes sense for that character to say that. Not to mention truth bombs you can't really argue with.
We don't belong here. It's just not natural.
It's delivered like a joke, yet it's not wrong.
We're going to the Antarctica. To the
Wild? You can actually go there?
You know, honestly, having seen now the terrible Madagascar ripoff, it kind of helps further appreciate just how solid the actual Madagascar is, and how it handles its exploration of this character arc and story in just a far more interesting way.
You didn't see anything.
right?
Yes.
Something else unsung about this movie while I'm just gushing in general, I really like the character designs. That straight line geometric look that's particularly evident with Alex's design.
Give yourself a hand, huh? Thank you.
With that partly informing how pampered and trimmed he is at the zoo before the claws pop out later. Again, these were very different to other CG movies around this time, and more importantly, showed some actual versatility from DreamWorks. This movie and its world looks entirely different from the Shrek movies. It has its own look and identity, though the cruder humor does still prevail.
You know, that was my first rectal thermometer.
Yeah, there's still plenty of that. As well as beats like this that live on as stims for those who grew up with it until this very day.
Happy birthday to
You.
Look like a monkey.
Don't pretend you didn't mentally finish that.
I say.
It's just stuck in my brain forever. I don't even find it funny anymore. I just can't help it. My brain fills in the gaps. Anyway, this all finally builds up to the bombshell.
I wish I could go to the wild.
The wild.
The wild?
With each character responding in how we'd expect them to from how they've already been established.
It's unsanitary.
So's giving someone else your rectal thermometer, but what do I know? And just to establish how domesticated these guys are, the wildest place they could think of is Connecticut. I love that.
You gotta go over to Grand Central, and then you gotta take the Metro North train.
Funny, plus weirdly relevant to the plot. There's something about how animated characters being overly specific about mundane stuff that I just thoroughly enjoy. Or how's about a reference I wouldn't have even understood if I reviewed this movie 6 months ago, but is suddenly, slight spoiler, we're jumping ahead, just to make a reference to basketball.
Nick's lost again.
I'm not aware as a British guy the relevancy of that basketball team and how they'd never won in like 60 years until they just recently won. And now I understand that joke that I wouldn't have got as a kid, and I wouldn't have gotten as an adult either. Great New York mundane jokes and references in there. Also, considering what happens later, this shot of Marty popping out the sides of the steak is also kinda spot on.
Highly refined, you do not find in the wild.
Visual foreshadowing? In Madagascar? Surely not! Not to mention, this is an interesting new take on the adventurer looking for horizons beyond the village versus locals who savor the safety and complacency of said village. It's an interesting take on the trope.
Doesn't it bother you guys that you don't know about life outside this zoo?
And throughout, they use comedic beats to only further underline that complacency.
They forgot to turn off the ambience. I got it.
Much better.
But of course, Marty's not just gonna be sticking around with all that we've established.
Marty, he's gone.
We've got a lost zebra.
God, I've forgotten the sheer momentum of comedy in this movie. Stellar stuff. On to Marty's adventure where nobody seems that bothered about the zebra walking around. It is New York.
All right. Thanks, New York.
Anyway. Swiftly followed by this power shot I remember from the trailers. Executed with all the gusto of a Jada on the hunt for Chris Rock. And onto the subway they go. There's a lot to love about the New York sequence, really.
Let's go straight back down West 42nd.
Thanks a lot, officer.
And when I mean the jokes are relentless, this comes right afterwards.
Yeah, that's right, a zebra. Can I shoot it?
Negative.
And this.
Did that just say Grand Central Station or my aunt's constipation?
There is a degree of randomness to it as well that I can definitely get on board with without ever really overstepping the mark into lol random territory. Not that that quite existed in 2005. I feel like that was more of a 2008-9 thing. I'm just saying, they gave Birdman the Best Picture Oscar for scenes exactly like this. Where's that Madagascar Oscar? That's what I'm saying. It is an animated movie. Those don't count as movies. Although DreamWorks did actually win that year, but it was with Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit of all things. Wow, I miss when the studio was this diverse with its output. Anyway, here's the one gag character who basically became a secondary antagonist in the sequel.
How do you like that? Yeah! You're a bad kitty.
What a crazy timeline for this character.
Oh, I got it!
Meanwhile,
You've been ratted out, boys.
We surrender!
Speaking of memory nuggets that regularly invade my brain, there's this bit.
Ow!
Again, this movie played its part in my unhinged sense of humor, I think, and I don't think I properly recognized that until revisiting it now. People don't put enough praise for this trilogy compared to Kung Fu Panda and How to Train Your Dragon, but the style of humor is out of this world. And I'm afraid I associate this song far more with this exact hallucination than Willy Wonka. Something's wrong with my childhood. Though considering the hallucination sequences in that movie, I'm only just starting to realize that this actually may have been a deliberate reference.
the Candyman can.
God, I was stupid. All this time and I never made that connection. Telling you, man, this is why you gotta revisit your childhood movies. There's more to see. You missed it. It's this exact zany humor I'm referring to when I celebrate the movie for being wholly different to Pixar. Pixar can have some pretty out there stuff in their movies too, you know, the opening of Toy Story 3 being among my favorite examples. But Madagascar just has several of these kind of moments, and a lot of them weirdly tied to Alex having hallucinations. Even from the tranquilizer dark visions, it feels like they're the storytelling mark of him leaving the comfort of what's been his reality up until now. It's into Oz for him from here.
Not again.
On to another set piece I love, and that visual is of each of them in different crates stacked around each other.
It's a zoo transfer.
Zoo transfer?
It's an iconic image, once again used in the trailers, that's just such a creatively interesting way of framing a scene. If a play was framed like this, it'd probably be getting awards for set design. And I love details like Melman stumbling around upside down in his box. I know that's what I was mostly thinking about the first time I watched this as a kid. Just that circumstance.
No other zoo could afford my medical care.
Meanwhile, the penguins are about to turn up the chaos meter.
You, higher mammal. Can you read?
Especially considering they're sending penguins along with everybody else to Africa. What's that about?
The Kung Fu thing.
Oh man, but everything with the penguins is just so good. And they're never as funny being the focus as they are just side characters. As for more jokes that just write themselves.
Well, they didn't know the real you.
Don't make me come up there.
Or her husband for that matter.
Get the whooping on both of y'all.
69 seconds later.
Don't give me excuses. Give me results.
I think what also makes the storytelling more interesting is the 2 layers of redirection. Because they're already being shipped to Africa, and as they explore in the sequel, there's already a whole movie to get out of that. But they don't keep things that straightforward, and instead send our characters on a completely different course entirely, not predestined in any way at all.
Get this tin can turned around.
Sending them to an environment not surrounded by other members of their species, so there's no comfort zone to be had whatsoever. I also think one of the most terrifying shots in this movie are the huge waves separating all the characters.
Marty!
I probably watched too many of these North Sea videos. Kind of brutal as well, as they once show that Alex went through this exact thing when he arrived in New York as a child. Reliving trauma's funny when you don't realize that's what's happening. Anyway, he swiftly crashes onto the title character. Weird thing to zone in on, but the actual title animation on the sea's particularly good in this bit.
Marty! Melvin! Gloria!
And it's not until the next day that Alex is joined by any of the others.
Giraffe! Quarter pockets! Wait!
And then there's this gag that feels like a spiritual successor to the opening of Shrek 2.
Alrighty, boys, fun's over.
Before, of course, another core memory from this movie, and an all-time classic in hiding an adult joke in a kid's movie.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea.
Hey there, thank you for making it to the halfway mark of this video. Come subscribe if you haven't already for more amazing animated movies. Somehow, we've never really touched Madagascar as a franchise before, other than the cancelled 4th one, so I've got some catching up to do. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, thank you for joining along. And now to the second half of DreamWorks' amazing Madagascar 1.
Oh, shit.
1 millisecond later.
I feel like even I found that funny as a kid, just because those words together sounded funny. But I wish I could remember the day that I realized what was actually going on with that line. It was probably a meme that just showed the quote. Anyway, it's time for what I'll call the Netflix thumbnail.
Where exactly is here?
Thank you. And it's actually a solid bit of physical comedy and clowning, having them all keep their heads together as they turn around to look at the jungle. Unfortunately, I can't use this as a thumbnail because I've already done that for the cancelled video we did previously. Actually, I've seen this as a Netflix thumbnail too.
San Diego.
Maybe I'll take that for this video. You know what I've done before I do. I'm only starting to realize how strong the framing and shot choices actually are throughout this movie. For one, almost every shot in this scene is so pleasing to look at. Whether it's how the characters are blocked in the frame, the color contrast between them and the blue sky background, or the whole insanely detailed jungle in the other shots. I think these all contribute to why visuals from this scene are often used as thumbnails from this movie. Who directed this? Oh, well, we have Tom McGrath, who also directed Megamind, that makes sense, and The Boss Baby. Oh, Tom, come on, man. Fun fact, he also voices Skipper, and he's hilarious in that role, so I may have to give him a pass for Boss Baby. You also have Eric Darnell, an OG from the start, being the director of Ants, and has otherwise exclusively directed the Madagascar movies and nothing else. He also gave us the lyrics for Welcome to Julock in Trek, so he definitely gets a thanks as well. Anyway, they're stuck on the island, and this is where the rift between Alex and Marty's ideologies really escalate.
It's your fault, Marty. You've ruined me.
But not before they have their first brushing into the locals, preceded by this wonderful slapstick sequence.
Ow! Ah! Ah! Oh no! Ah!
You can never go wrong with a bit of comedic violence. And so, the inevitable reveal of our next iconic character to get his own spin-off media, complete with New Year's Countdown that I actually used back in 2017. It is, of course, Mr.
I like to move it,
You like to move it.
We've already highlighted the sound bites and moments that have stayed with those of us who have grown up with this movie, but this has got to be the king of them all.
You know, move it nice and sweet and sassy.
When I finally heard the original version of this song, it just sounded so weird and off because this version is just so definitive to me. DreamWorks keeps doing that with their song choices, don't they? Though I did forget how quickly this was introduced.
The Fusa are attacking!
An animal I exclusively know from this movie. I have never seen a real photo of them, nor any appearance from them in any other movie. They soon get sorted for now, though.
We're hot and new.
Poor Spider, just saying hello.
Get it!
It's a trope for animated bugs. They never get a high back. Anyway, this is what ties their narrative and the lemurs together directly with this sequence that's very Puss in Boots coded.
Big mean lion scare you?
Again, I love how unhinged this guy gets by the time we reach the second one. On to an American sports joke that, of course, passed by me as a kid.
The New York Giants.
Same as the basketball one in the subway. I didn't get it. And like Shrek, I also really enjoy the darker shades of comedy in this movie as well.
We bozos have the people of course.
It's portrayed in a wacky, light-hearted way, but still, you wouldn't get a joke like that in, like, the Paw Patrol movies, would you? The kids crave skeletons. Weirdly, it's not even the darkest beat in the next 5 minutes.
Should he have any live people?
Only dead ones.
This movie's also very much responsible for me thinking that Madagascar was just a small, uninhabited jungle island.
If we had a lot of live people, it wouldn't be called The Wild.
The Wild? Could you excuse me for a moment?
It is slightly larger than the UK and has 34 million people living in it. That's like half the population of the UK. Again, childhood was a lie. As they face their new reality, Melman digs his own grave and writes his own will into the sand.
I've divided my estate equally.
Well, that's a pretty bleak place to take a character in a kid's movie. But of course, it's more that this poor guy's just accepting he won't make it out here, consistent with the hypochondriac character they've set up. And I love Alex getting annoyed when his share of the will's washed away by the sea.
Oh, sorry, Alex.
And the Alex-Marty divide just continues to grow.
It's a grave. This is a whole new beginning.
There are different approaches to the island, that being escaping it versus embracing it, going to what I'd call a very Looney Tunes place.
This is your side of the island, and this is our side of the
It goes a bit towards a Bugs Bunny Daffy Duck rivalry, particularly with the animals building elaborate constructions thing that they have going on.
I defy any rescue boat within 1,000,000 miles to miss this.
And the slapstick, of course.
Cats always land on their face!
And another reference I found funny before I knew it was a reference.
You maniac! Darn you all to heck!
Yeah, it's pretty much beat for beat the original Planet of the Apes scene again.
Damn you all to hell!
Can we go to the fun side now?
Back to the lemurs, and another line burned into my brain. This is just an iconic movie throughout, isn't it?
Shut up, you're so annoying.
With the grand plan being to get Alex and co to stay on the island to protect them from the
Dreaded Fusa.
The Fusa are attacking!
a plot point dispersed between moments that make you go, did such a Baron Cohen just throw that in?
Now who would like a cookie?
Back to the main ensemble, and Marty decides to be the bigger person, animal, thing. It goes over to Alex.
I just want to go home. It really isn't the fun side without you.
And Alex does actually come over, with yet another gag I completely missed as a kid.
Alex!
Again, we're in like a Looney Tunes adjacent world here, where a zebra can absolutely build a tiki bar on a beach in a night.
This is seawater. It's just temporary till the plumbing's done.
With everything fully mechanized. Again, it's nothing new when you look back at cartoon logic, but it was just different to the Pixar approach that we'd seen up to this point, with like Finding Nemo for example, putting the wackier anthropomorphized character style into a major CG movie context. And for me at least, that really works. This might be one of my favorite DreamWorks movies, particularly as it's kind of characterizing the domesticated quality of these characters who have come from the human world, as does the consistent writing of the characters and letting the comedy come out of that.
Billions and billions of helicopters.
And we finish up the scene with famous last words from Marty,
I promise you I'm gonna find you a steak tomorrow that kills me.
as we start to see following our next Alex dream sequence, this time with a reference to American Beauty. They really go the extra mile with these movie references. I kind of miss movie references in movies. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking forward to Shrek 5 to see what movie references they're gonna parody. Arguably, it's easy, simple storytelling, like a quick, cheap gag. But I don't know, man. Maybe I like this stuff, because they've done it back in these classic movies, and they're classics. If not a little outdated, if it's not a timeless movie, whatever.
What are you doing?
There's also some great gags that play with movie tropes in general. Like here, we have a line we'd usually cut to the next morning immediately after.
Wait until they are deep in their sleep.
But no, they linger on that shot, slowly pulling away until...
How long is this going to take?
Like, this is just bang on my sense of humor. Love a bit of meta stuff. And just jokes that actively waste the story's time. Anyway. Speaking of gags with long pauses, I don't need to even elaborate on this classic.
Well, this sucks.
The shot, the framing, the long pause, the sound design on the blizzard, it's just perfect. And it seamlessly interjects between the main plot of Madagascar. Speaking of which, a full 2/3 of this movie, we finally get the title drop.
Welcome to Madagascar.
Wild?
No, not
The Wild.
Madagascar.
Beyond the titles, the word has not cropped up in this movie once until this point. And the visuals just keep cooking as well.
Oh, nah, fella. That is the real deal.
Considering the super stylized characters, I forget just how good the Madagascar scenery actually is. I guess when you reference a specific location in your movie's title, you really gotta go for it. And it's funny, because like in my memory, it's kind of like crappy, early CG movie look, which I guess generally it sort of is. But when you actually revisit it, no, this is decent, this is good. It's 2005. But this soon leads us to the big uh-oh. As it turns out that embracing your wild side means something quite different for the apex predator of the group.
Let's go wild. Now you're talking.
I just love that the big dilemma comes from the lion being too hungry. There's obviously way more developed character arcs out there, but it's just an interesting concept to explore. To have predator and prey grow up as friends in a zoo, and nature being an obstacle to that friendship once they're released from the zoo. It's like the most obvious first conflict, but delivered with an interesting circumstance around it. It's a nature versus nurture story. If nurture was locking animals up in a zoo, you know? With said story being told in just a zany Madagascar way.
Alex!
Anyway, it's time for our parallel from earlier to be paid off.
Do the raw, man!
Don't like it.
And I think this moment only further cements that the cartoony approach of having the main characters behave like people helps that contrast between domesticated and wild. And I like the detail that Alex's predatorial instincts are represented by him visualizing other animals as stakes. Likewise, that blocky geometric character design being disrupted by his sharp claws popping out and his mane getting messier. It's a great visual cue of the order and sense of the city leaving him as the wilder side starts to take over. Leading us to yet another iconic moment that sticks in my head.
Excuse me, you're biting my butt.
As well as one of my favorite King Julian moments.
What is a simple bite on the buttock? Give me a nibble.
With our guy Maurice here finally getting to unload his conclusions on the predator in the room.
Anyway, cannot stay here. He belongs with his own kind.
And because it doesn't quite feel like the movie's justified the last straw for Alex yet, they deliver said final straw here.
Do I look like a steak?
Oh, yeah.
He's going savage.
And considering they very much designed Alex to be a character who stands upright, these shots of him running on all fours actually work really well. Time for this movie's hallelujah moment, as it seems our characters must go their separate ways.
I'm a monster. I gotta get out of here.
Though, even in the sad scene, they still make it funny to the beat of none other than Louis Armstrong. Even in this low point, they're still prioritizing the comedy above all else, whilst also showing Marty in particular just how brutal the wild is. What? What? What the fuck? Again, again, they've got some pretty dark jokes in this. I can imagine that baby duck being eaten actively making some kids cry. If not just wild Alex in general.
Gloria.
That was the boat. The boat!
And here's yet another solid piece of comedic editing.
We gotta flag down that boat.
And just more absolute gold from the penguins.
Where are the people?
We killed them and ate their livers.
Bear in mind, one of the hallmarks of this film in particular is that their screen time is notably below 10 minutes.
Where's that psychotic lion and our monochromatic friend?
As we head into the climax, Marty has headed back into the jungle to recover Alex from the predator zone. And I love this small implication that he had to go through the same slapstick falling sequences as Alex without actually showing it.
Oh, Alex!
Also, why is this movie obsessed with Marty's butt?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
With one final hallucination for Alex.
Step out of it, Alex.
With one of the few emotionally sincere lines in this movie. It's a classic movie. It tries to be emotional. Somehow that's a standard that's not hit these days.
I don't want to hurt you.
In amongst this silly movie, there are some underlying themes of not giving up on friends even at their most challenging times. Sure, it's not usually overcoming their natural instincts to eat you, but the parallels are pretty clear.
Alex, I ain't leaving without you.
Something that often doesn't get talked about with this movie is that the climax is actually pretty small scale, and I love that. So many movies go way off overboard, you know? For such an out there movie, especially with all of its comedy going on, you have the final clash with the Fusa. Sure, but really it's Marty and Alex's reunion that is the true emotional climax here. It's straightforward and maybe not the tier of storytelling you'd get from Pixar at this time, but not every movie has to be that.
Hey, Alex, little help.
Mind you, I say small scale. I forgot how many face off here.
This is the plan!
What's hungry to eat?
From memory, I thought it was like 5 of them. Plus, the humor is still firing on all cylinders.
Come and get it.
Before we get the final lead up to Alex's comeback with a red herring moment that you'd suss out immediately, but it's still good.
That's my kill. Alex, eat.
Until...
It's showtime. Thanks for not giving up on me, Marty.
Bringing things full circle as the gang use their performance instincts to get themselves out of it. Including this moment that a TikTok ruined for me.
Oh, you want some of this?
It's the fun final fight sequence this movie deserves, with character arcs tied up and all.
I did it! The plan worked. I'm very clever.
Into the resolution, and thankfully in this universe, fish don't quite have the same level of cognizance as land animals, so Alex is allowed to eat them.
Hey.
Whew, what an easy fix.
There's always plan B.
Prove to me that his heart is bigger than his stomach.
And I like that it wrapped with them on the island. Whilst the plan's absolutely there to get back to New York, they are content where they are, and they'll get there when they get there. It's not really in an I've found my home now way. They are still looking to get back to New York at this point, but right now, it just doesn't matter. They do have each other.
I don't care where we are. Doesn't matter to me.
And it's a good job because the boat don't work.
Don't you think we should tell them that the boat's out of gas?
Nah. Also, I'm pretty sure you can't get a massive ship like that off the shore once you've beached it like that.
Just smile and wave, boys.
Beyond friendship, I don't really think there's an exactly big message that can be taken away from this movie. You know, its story is very straightforward. There's no big emotional reprieve like the end of Shrek, for instance. And it's certainly not out there in the grand masterpieces of cinema, but does it really need to be? It might not be objectively the best movie, but I think personally, it is still one of my favorites, especially looking back on it. Madagascar excels at exactly what it was made to be. A really fun, entertaining family movie with stellar masterpiece quality of writing comedy and bringing out the slapstick too. And that's all it needed to be. A masterpiece in one category. At least. It ticks all those regular boxes in its own way, but at the end of the day, the comedy was the priority in this movie, and they smashed it. And without the success of this fun comedy movie, you don't get the likes of How to Train Your Dragon and Megamind, which, as we've discovered, was the co-director's next movie after this. And that's why this will always stand, especially to me, as DreamWorks' amazing Madagascar. Now we gotta get around to the sequels. For now though, I'd best finally end it off there. My name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do tell us your thoughts on the original Madagascar. Or hey, tell us about the sequels if you want to get ahead of the ground. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and more, but otherwise, I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio!
The Wild.